아이고. 저번에 어디서 끝났더라? 얘하고 이야기를 했어야 했던 것같은데.
She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabelle, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve. Got it, thanks. For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath. I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
Sounds like you two were close.
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her. But she had a way of understanding unspoken things. She mostly ignores me if I'm honest.
How come?
Well, we're not quite on the same intellectual level.
Oh. you don't need to.
No, it's quite all right. I'm comfortable with it.
얘랑 뭐가 있었더라?
Gaudy old thing, isn't it? Flora seems very fond of it. I've never understood why. But then I could say the same thing about her husband.
Heyo!
Oh, she's beautiful! Who is she? Wait, is that me? She's a most unsavory little... She was incredibly rude about my appearance.
Which part? The giant bird arms, or...
If I were her, I'd go easy on the judgment of others. I mean, look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, it was Uncle that called her in. She's his responsibility. Did you not know that?
뭐가 부족한 기분인데?
Check out that butterfly.
Looks evil.
Wow, judgmental.
A rather magnificent bush. Somewhat cruelly confined.
There's a letter P carved into the side. We already solved it.
얘하고는 그걸 말했었나? 말을 했었네. 여기서 내가 감을 계속 못 잡아서
A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
A little bit.
A little bit friends.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it.
펠릭스.
I must say, I really don't care for the den of self-delusion that he's retreated into. People are better off when they just let themselves be themselves. Between you and me, I think Felix is secretly rather miserable.
이건 모르겠지?
Not a fan of insects myself. Whose research is this?
We were hoping you might know.
No, can't say I. Freya, perhaps. I know she was always very fond of grubby little things like this.
Noted.
역시.
Yes, it's my, my flower.
You don't like it?
I'm no good at caring for plants. I forget to water them. Birds are much easier. They're a lot more vocal when they get thirsty.
Do you at least like the look of the flower?
The look?
The colors? The shape of it?
Between you and me, I think it's a little vulgar. If I'm not mistaken, that little red and white one is supposed to be a bird of some kind.
이것도 모를 텐데 얘.
Sure, I've read about this
아이가?
creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. Can't say I've ever taken an interest in Uncle's astronomy. On occasion, I've dared to visit him in his tower, but I always regret it. It's all just a little too abstract for me.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you know the sun is apparently over 400,000 miles wide? Okay, so what should I do with that information? How does it help me?
Don't look at me. You're the one who memorized it.
그냥 다 물어봐야겠다.
Finally! I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Well, only last week I asked that miserable Hawkshaw woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being, what was it? A shallow sensationalist. Is that for sewing?
Maybe?
We have no idea.
Haven't seen this one in a while. He lives in the music room, doesn't he?
Currently.
나 뭔가 부족해.
Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes, adorable. I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling, don't you think? It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting presence, bless her. Lovely.
역시나.
I don't like mirrors. They steal your soul.
How do you get your hair so symmetrical without using a mirror?
I do it by weight. I can feel if one side is heavier than the other.
Bird diagrams.
They're beautiful. Someone really knows their stuff.
My little writing desk.
There's nothing written in the book. They're bird cages. But the birds are coming and going freely.
Is that a metaphor?
Oh, it totally is.
And especially.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
이게 없었나? 이게 세 장 말해줬을 텐데. 말 안 하는 거. 다른 애를 만나야 돼. 얘 한번 물어볼까?
Oh, did you talk to Poppy already?
Yeah, a little bit.
And did you make any notes of what she told you?
Yeah, I did.
Lovely. Burn them. It'll all be lies.
Why would Poppy lie to us?
Because that's what she does. She's a snake. Looks like one, too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
나 그냥 다 물어봤다. 뭔가 빼먹은 게 있어.
Giant stone frog? Love it.
Ah, he's got his tongue out like he's catching snowflakes.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers. More egg statues. Well, either they have or the sculptor was just really lazy.
What do you mean?
An egg has got to be the easiest shape to make.
It's the door.
One of only 2 ways to...
Yeah. It's a little handmade card. Inside it says, "To Fitz, from PP."
Someone painted out the window.
Do you think it was done
No
recently?
idea. Either way, it's pretty suspicious. Where's that light coming from?
No, it's just daylight, I think. There's a decent gap between those.
이런 게 있었나?
Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is?
여기서 뭐
Is
어떻게
that
하는
what I
거지?
think it is? Is that what I think it is?
Where's that light
That's
coming?
just daylight. There's a decent gap between those floorboards. What is that?
Not sure.
Looks like it might attach to something. It's a statue standing up straight.
You know,
I know.
It's not quite as dusty as everything else up here. Also, it's not a statue. It's stuffed.
응?
It's a jar.
Huh. Just dusty junk.
Where's that light coming from?
That's just daylight. There's a decent gap between. Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is?
이거를 감을 못 잡겠네. 근데 저기서 나온 깃털이 아무리 봐도 제 건데.
There's a metal plaque on the
Is
bench.
there a message?
I think there was, but someone scratched it off.
Professor Pointer's a respectable astronomer. Keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone. It's a big stone
Biggest
die.
first one, too.
Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, Detective. I find her rather embarrassing, little more than a spoilt child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse. I'll say this, he's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse, but I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers in secret.
Whoa, scandal.
I just wonder if he's getting restless. Three birds. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Oh, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves?
One of three statues depicting the same creature. This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music. These people really are ridiculous, aren't they? I admit, it's powerful. Freya was a talented young woman.
Someone even liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference. Don't you consider that important evidence, do you?
얘는 아예 모르겠다.
What is that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it attaches to something else.
Why don't you go back and double-check the area you found it? Maybe you'll find the rest of the something else.
I'm not so sure about that.
Some breed of amphibious humanoid, potentially bipedal, although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
A book from the library, one of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that.
A giant...
AKA a greenhouse.
Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing. I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
앞에 거를 먼저 풀어보자. 근데 항상 새 장에 갇혀 있는데 얘 갖고 있는 새의 깃털들이 왜 여기 있는 것 같지? 힌트.
Do you think this was always supposed to be a bedroom?
I don't know.
No windows either. It's a little glass.
I think it's a
Come
vivant.
again?
See the leaves and twigs might have been for keeping insects.
Do you think this was...
I don't know.
No windows either. It's Freya's bed. A little bit messy.
It's a perfectly healthy amount of messy.
Do you think this was...
I don't know.
No windows either. Not the kind of lamp I choose for my
It's
bedroom.
cool. Looks like
아,
we already solved it.
이건 아는데.
Painting supplies.
Even though where someone's been tracking in mud from outside. Brushes.
They're clean, but they look pretty. That painting.
Why would you want it looming over your
Maybe
bed?
Freya enjoyed the
The
atmosphere.
atmosphere of chaos. And
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph. Do you think this was all?
I don't know.
No windows either.
구조가 이상하다.
A pillow with a paw.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate. That's weird.
What did you find in the
Nothing.
drawer?
They're completely empty.
The entire room is made of
Oh, it's
wood.
not just made of wood. I think it's the actual hull of a ship.
EP? 이랑 얘기를 해야 된다고? 너가 남아있는 게 있었니?
Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next! What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
These weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds. I think.
My argument stands. I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring. It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya? A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint.
There's something about Felix's painting supplies. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
So, about this paint.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to. Let's take a closer look at this. Freya's blue paint pot is exactly the same as Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Nope. Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
This red paint
I-
pot was somehow almost, maybe just cheap. This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know, perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end, after what happened. Seemed a bit, insensitive.
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene. We know a little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
Blood from the paint pot was used to hide a real... Nope. Blood from the paint pot was used. That's not right. Blood from the paint pot was designed to match a real knife to resemble a bloody knife. That's not right either. Blood from the paint pot, almost. Maybe just change. Blood from the paint pot, almost. Maybe just... Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife.
I think you're right. Can't decide if I'm disappointed or relieved.
I have a question. Why?
Either it's a very strange coincidence, or somebody set it up.
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person who could have hidden the feather, unless someone took it from her.
Let's go over what we do know. The door was locked the whole time. It stayed locked until Fitz kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya did.
Hold on. If there was no knife, then what did stab Freya?
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
How is it not important?
Right now, I'm less interested in the what, and more interested in the how.
The angle of Freya's wound suggests she was stabbed at a perfect right angle. That is, from directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the canvas.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with a painting.
Maybe something went through it.
Through the painting? Wouldn't that leave a hole?
Okay, well, how about this? How do we know Freya was stabbed before she fell over? Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated.
Where's that light coming
That's
from?
just daylight. There's a decent gap. Is that what I think it is? You haven't seen this yet, have you?
It's a little model of you. Who were the other people next to you?
석조광장? 여기 아닌가?
It's a bandstand.
It's small for a
It's a
bath.
one-man bandstand.
What animal?
Hawk.
Right, a hawk bear lizard. A path leading towards the stone.
여기가 석조광장이구나.
Is that a...
If it is,
올바른 위치가 뭐지? 똑같이 만들어야 된다는 건가? 이게 아니야?
So, moving any of the hands turns the adjacent hands in the opposite direction. It's like cogs on a machine.
설무. 이건 3. 3을 가게 해야 되고, 이건 9시 가게 해야 되고. 아니, 맞나? 그럼 얘 설마 6시에 가게 해야 되는 건가? 얘 12시 가게 하고. 얘가 6일 수도 있겠네? 얘가 9고?
Reset the puzzle.
아, 그럼 얜 9가 맞고 얜 6이 맞다. 이렇게. 이렇게?
That's the one.
Hey, not bad. What's in the box?
A little, but I'm not actually sure what it is.
아. 선생님 이거 뭐예요?
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client.
A giant glowing...
AKA a greenhouse.
온실에서 이걸 사용했다던데.
You ever seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her.
belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Well, who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away.
There's something about Hawkshaw's handheld. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
This little microscope thing? You said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense, if you knew what my client had asked me to find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry, we already worked out what you're searching for.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He is not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact you didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse.
이건 현미경이
It's not a
아니야.
microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Hawkshaw, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Really?
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me. And so, I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento from my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired me, I dared to consider it something of a planetary alignment. I had hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
Hold on. You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect is your murder victim.
아, 아?
Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you. Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth. My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did. What's this?
It looks like it might be a telescope. Thought you might know something about it.
Well, it certainly is a telescope. It has a part there to screw onto a tripod, you see. It's rather small, though. I'm not sure you could see many stars with it.
No, probably not.
Name, Haksha. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard. Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless, unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your teeth. It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what. Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2, increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me. I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
음악가는 알려나? 약간 같은
I think
예술이니까.
everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes.
뭐요? 여기 다시 살펴봐. 볼 거 없는 것 같은데 여기서.
There's no natural light in here at all.
I like it.
Not the kind
It's
of...
cool. Looks like old mining equipment.
It's a fish?
I think it looks more like a whale.
Fine, it's a whale.
Could also be a shark.
Just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone.
뭐지? 마지막 퍼즐 조각 하나가
Do you think this was...
I don't know.
No windows either. Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight? Just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone. Freya's bear.
Looks pretty
He's had a
depressed.
rough couple of days.
Did Freya paint those animals?
They're kinda sick.
Maybe she painted them when she was younger. Drawings.
What's that one on the left?
Looks like two people. One of them's holding a red rose.
어?
There's something about those petals we found in Penny's room. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
잠시만 이야기 기다려 볼 게 있어.
So we found this.
Oh, that's nothing. You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses. And there's only one place in Tango Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses.
and who they belong to. It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those 2 bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
One of Penny's birds was almost, maybe just... One of Penny's almost, maybe just... One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
We need a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden. Let's take a closer look at these.
너무 대충 봤나?
This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it! Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days, but being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
너 일로 와. 이거 뭐야?
Fitz, one of these drawings is of you? In the rooftop garden, I think? With Poppy.
Mm-hmm. Are we done?
에? 그래요.
Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that?
Very nice.
You've seen these before?
Yes.
All of them. Even this one of...
Yes.
얘가 아주 좋은 정보망이구만.
There is a drawing of me, a drawing of Detective Hawkshaw, and a drawing of Poppy and Fitz. Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife.
Right?
Name, Poppy Pointer. Apparently, Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
There's something about the report of Fitz going up Pointer Tower. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
So, Fitz, I have a report that you were seen sneaking up Pointer Tower. Holding a knife.
That's not right. I don't go into Pointer Tower. I don't own a knife. And I don't sneak. Was it Fifi who told you this?
How did you know that?
A guess. She doesn't like me very much. But yeah, she was mistaken. Maybe she wasn't wearing her eye lens thing.
What do you think, Grimoire?
팔이 아니라
Fifi did see Fitz, but he was holding something else.
So, if it wasn't a knife, what was it?
모종사.
What about this?
Ah, that.
Is it yours?
It was a gift. It's sentimental. I have no reason to take it up Pointer Tower. I don't use it at all.
어?
That flower.
Yes.
I've never seen it before.
We need a clue to compare to that flower. Something that proves its connection to Fitz.
화분의 꽃과 직접 비교할 수 있는 것.
Let's take a closer look at these. The pot and soil, almost. Maybe just... The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in Fitz's greenhouse. Let me guess. Penny's flower was originally a gift from you, Fitz. There's no way it's a coincidence.
No way what's a coincidence.
The flower. It looks exactly like Penny.
It took me a long time to breed. I wanted the colors to be exactly right.
That's some gift.
Turns out Penny isn't particularly interested in looking after plants. So I go into her room every now and again when she's not there. Water the flower, change the soil. Just trying to keep it alive.
Are we done?
For now. It's about time we found out what's beneath the garden. Where do you think it goes?
Down.
일단 가봐. 오, 뭔 연구소자.
What's in there?
Ooh.
It's a little diagram of a beetle.
That's weird.
What?
It looks really compared to the beetles.
9 beetles. All different, all
Poor
different.
little guys.
There's a bunch of notes written all. It's mostly numbers. No idea what they mean.
뭔가 저를 찾아야 되는.
Is it locked?
Seems likely, doesn't it? Weird looking safe.
I'm pretty sure the latches can slide into the middle.
잃어보라고? 우와. 순서도 중요하나? 이렇게 하고. 아니구나. 내가 볼 때는 이거야. 오. 이렇게 하면 좀 그럴싸한 것 같지 않아? 아닌가? 이게 맞는 것 같은데. 일단 보자. 겁나 그럴싸하게 땡겨. 아, 이거 같은데. 근데 길이가 안 맞는 것 같지. 그냥 그럴싸하게 그냥 땡겨. 하지만 맞질 않아. 그렇다는 건 이거야. 좋아. 그럼 얘는 뭘까? 얘는 없어도 되는 건가? 시야봐. 이걸 좀 더 길게 키워서 이렇게 연결하고 거의 다 온 것 같은데. 에헤이, 거의 다 온 것 같은데. 아, 거의 다 온 것 같은데. 뭔가 개꼬였다. 뭘까? 무언가 연결이 되어야 한다. 주황색이 제일 위, 파란색이 제일 아래. 그러면 주황색 먼저, 파란색 먼저 깔고 체크하자. 이걸로 해봅시다. 그 다음 빨간색이지. 이렇게 하고 연결 부위를 찾아. 이 케이스가 일단 이렇게. 그 다음에 녹색. 내가 뭘 하고 있는 거지? 아유. 이거 아까 그거 아니야? 파란색은 이게 맞아. 얘는 이게 맞아. 이게 맞지? 짧은 건가? 제일 짧은 걸로 하자니. 얘는 이게 맞아. 좋아. 얘랑 연결할 거. 그거는 녀석이야. 하지만 없어. 그러면 얘인가? 다음은 이렇게 되겠지? 좋아. 얜 이게 맞는 것 같아. 녹색은 이 주황색도 얘가 맞는 것 같은데 다음은 그럼 얘겠지? 이거야. 얘가 이거고 올려볼까? 됐다.
I got it.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, more research.
비밀 연구물.
Whose research is this? This is some seriously in-depth research.
That's impressive, but it's incomplete. There's a section missing.
이거 아닐까? 완벽하게 완성됐어.
So, this is Pointer's secret lab.
Definitely seems like he's the one using it.
I guess not a lot of people know about the secret entrance.
Right. But if Pointer's the only one who comes down here, why would he need to lock his research in a safe? Who's he hiding it from?
He's just paranoid, especially about his golden beetle.
What do you think he's trying to do exactly?
황금 딱정벌레겠죠. 포인터는 무언가를 번식시키려 했다. 그게 황금 딱정벌레고.
Pointer has been trying to breed the golden beetle in the underground laboratory.
Why? Because it's rare?
Because it's gold?
Is that it?
그러니까.
I think so. I don't think he cares about entomology any more than he cares about astronomy. He just wants to get one over on Felix. If he can breed his own gold, suddenly Poppy's inheritance is looking pretty,
Infinite. Might explain why he was so worried about losing the beetle. Maybe somebody did steal it.
Might have been Freya after all. We know she was trying to get through the secret door in the garden.
She might not have known what was down here, though. Maybe she was just curious.
Curious, sure, but not naive. I reckon she knew what was going on.
I think we're still missing the bigger picture. There's no way this is all just about a beetle. We're done.
Ready to go down? Again?
뭔가 더 봐야 될 것 같긴 한데. 가보지 뭐. 이건 뭐지?
We're too late. This photograph has been stabbed.
Why? By what?
Not sure. Some kind of metal stabbing thingy.
이렇게 시계 침처럼 생겼나요? 진짜 여기 써있네. 시계 바늘 점표 자꾸 부러져 있다. 줄?
So what's the photo?
어?
Do you know who it is?
Basements don't normally...
Or it must be.
Right, but if that's the lake...
Like what?
White, no plants, it's not...
Where are we? This man in the photo, he reminds me of something from one of our clues.
That's not right.
사진 속 남자를 묘사하는 거. 뭘 찾아야 되나 더?
We need a clue that's got some connection.
어?
Felix made a little model of him for Flora.
Yeah, it makes sense when you know who he is.
어제 제 이름이 기억이 안 난다.
Lord Fellow.
Really?
Wait, no.
Felix made a little model of him for
Yeah,
Flora.
it makes sense when you know who he is. Lord Remington.
Remington. That makes him Flora's father, meaning the girl in the photo is...
Yeah, it's her. See the bird, too.
I never would have guessed. Times sure do change.
I don't know. I don't think she looks so different.
Did you notice how much light this room has? For a room with one candle?
It's all coming through the window.
I'm pretty sure lakes are supposed to be darker at the bottom, not lighter.
Why is there a room down here anyway? And why is it so much older than the rest of Tangle Tower?
We still don't really know why people came to live here in the first place.
Maybe they just wanted to get rich, like Pointer with his beetles.
I feel like the Remingtons came here for the lake, for what was in it.
It's empty, though. More empty than a normal lake would be.
It is now, yeah. Maybe we're too late. A single book on a little...
This is creeping me
Why?
out. I think it's a children's book.
눈이 없고 긴 혀를 가진 수생 파충류.
There's a roll of paper.
I'll see if I
Let me guess.
펼쳐보자. 원래는
That's the room we're in now. It must be. It's not labeled as anything on these plans.
I think it already existed when this was made.
The rooftop garden. That name makes a little more sense in this context.
여기가 왜 클릭이 안 돼?
The rooftop garden. That name makes a little more sense. Storage.
It's Freya's room.
어?
Study. Wait,
I know. We never went in there.
how did we miss it? That's the lake, right? I think that horizontal line might be the water level.
It used to be a lot lower down than it is now.
위로는 더 새로 신던.
So, the whole house is built on top of some kind
Apparently. The Grand Hall.
What's that thing?
I think it's that big glass. This seems...
Agreed.
창고였다.
Let's head back. I want to find that last room. Wow.
How long were we down there?
This must be it. This thing goes all...
How are we supposed to get up there?
Hang on, but I think there's a switch.
일로 와. 우야.
A ladder.
Want to go up?
숨겨진 심장부.
It's a wooden pinboard, hung up on one of the
Looks
chains.
like there's a couple of things missing from it.
얘 걔인가?
Do those look like scratch marks?
Yeah, they're on the inside.
안에 뭐가 있었는지.
Coffee table, half-empty wine bottle. I'm gonna say...
Someone complacent enough to leave their notebook lying around.
이건 뭐야?
An incinerator built into the wall. It's still pretty hot.
Is there anything left inside?
It's mostly ashes. Yeah, there's something.
새?
Someone's been using this room. I don't get it. This room is in the original building plans for the mansion. But nowadays it's some big secret?
It's not a secret to everybody. At least one other person still knows about this room.
The way the notebook was left out on the table makes me think it's someone who has the room all to themselves.
Whoever it was, they left more than just the notebook. There's a whole design project on this pinboard. Feels like someone put quite a bit of effort into it.
It's a shame there are things missing from it. I'm betting it'd make more sense if we could see it all together.
That might not be impossible, you know. That's definitely the right kind of... None of the pages match up to what's on the pinboard.
여기 있다. 이거랑 이건 뭘까? 이거 아닐까?
That
We
doesn't.
need something that could attach to the.
메모판에 붙일 만한 거. 이건 아까 썼는데.
That's not right. Something that's been taped at the top.
이거다.
The painting from Freya's room and those sketches. Did Freya design Detective Hawkshaw's clothes? What kind of sense does that make?
I don't think that's why Freya made that painting, but it may have been why somebody took a photo of it to use as reference. And as for those sketches of Hawkshaw, I don't think Freya actually drew them. It was somebody else, someone with less of a talent for art.
Doesn't exactly narrow it down. Should we go ask Detective Hawkshaw about all this?
I'm not sure. I still don't know what's really going on.
Who are all the people?
Not sure, but our eyes have all been crossed out.
어.
That photo is important. I'm sure of it.
Another photograph.
Their faces are all crossed out with some kind of black ink.
That's weird.
Oh, you think so?
No, I mean, something I just realized. Sally, did we meet any of these people here at Tango Tower?
Well, the woman on the left looks a little like Poppy, but her style is way different. And at first I thought the guy on the top right was Felix, but now that I look at it, I don't think it is him. An axe and some kind of hunting rifle mounted on the wall.
Honestly, doesn't
I'm more worried about the third one,
the third
the
one?
one that isn't there.
어.
Dragon?
Snake?
Worm?
That's the one.
Is that a crab?
It's got a translucent accent.
Also, crabs. You sure?
Grimoire, don't you think it looks familiar?
Ooh. 일루미나티. 어? 이걸 뭘 하는 거지? 뭔가 규칙성이 있을 텐데.
This crab really reminds
That little wooden toy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to help us. I think I've seen it more recently.
이거랑 똑같이 하면 되는 건가? 아니면 이거랑 똑같이 해야 되는 건가? 이걸 해볼까?
Is that a crab?
It's gotta-
Also, crabs. Is that a
It's gotta-
Also,
이거를 올려 벌리고 올려 벌리고 아니야 이거 이렇게 다 걸고 이거였나?
I guess that's
I don't
wrong.
think we need to guess.
What do you mean?
We have all the information we need in our case file.
아 야,
Nothing.
I'm sure I've seen this thing somewhere.
얍. 얍.
Nope.
Wasn't this crab in that book we found?
The children's book?
This
잘못
crab really...
봤나?
That little-
Yeah, but I think I've seen it more recently.
아. 오케이.
Is that a
It's got a
Also,
tree.
확실히 알았어. 이렇게 하고 여기에 이거야.
I guess
I don't
that's...
think we need
What do
to...
you mean?
We have all the information we need in our case.
이거야.
Nothing.
I'm sure I've seen this thing somewhere.
이건가?
Nope.
Wasn't this
The
crab...
children's book. Perfect.
됐어.
What's this?
Something somebody didn't want us to find.
석공.
What is it?
뭐야 이거? 원래 있었나 저 곰?
Was someone trying to hide it? From us?
지금 봤네.
I don't know, but it looks incomplete to me. I want to know what happened to the rest of it. Where are the other parts?
We found them already.
이거는 막대야. 그리고 여기에는 감기가
I think that might, but not this part of the cross.
그래? 이거다. 렌즈 끼고 여기다 이제 이거 끼면은 완벽해.
What do you make of it?
Not sure. Let's keep an open mind.
You don't think the crossbow is the murder weapon?
Oh no, the crossbow is definitely the murder weapon. But that doesn't mean we've solved the mystery. Time to solve this.
All right, break out the notebook. Time to put it all together.
Let's start with this. It's an arrow for the crossbow, and it matches Freya's wound. It's the murder weapon. I'm sure of it.
Despite the fact it doesn't have any blood on it, and it wasn't found anywhere near the crime scene.
Mm-hmm. It was cleaned, then it was hidden. I don't think anybody expected us to get down to that room at the bottom of the lake.
Okay, so Freya was shot by a crossbow. Where was it fired from?
이건
It
위에서
was fired
쐈어.
from above Freya.
Above, huh?
Yeah, our diagram doesn't show everything. Let's add in the rest of the crime scene.
The attic.
Perfect hiding place. We even found a part of the murder weapon up there. The reel was used to pull the arrow back up through the crack in the floorboards.
Explains why we never found a weapon at the crime scene, I guess.
The murderer must have dropped the reel in the attic. I'm guessing they were in a hurry to escape.
Wait. The arrow was fired through the crack in the floorboards?
Yeah, it's directly above where Freya was found lying on her back.
Nope. Doesn't add up. It would have missed her if she was still standing up by the painting.
Ah, right.
Unless...
프레이야는 이미 누워있는
Freya was
상태였어.
already lying on her back before the arrow was fired.
I think so too.
의식이 없었다.
She'd fallen unconscious.
Something in the room caused Freya to fall unconscious.
그것은 죽음기.
The gramophone.
Right.
But the gramophone by itself can't do that.
There was something in the gramophone.
Mm-hmm. Something small.
That's not it.
죽음기 안에 이건 아닐 것 같은데.
That's not it.
오빠.
That's not it.
이건 석궁도 보고. 뭐가 있을까? 이걸 쐈으면 얘가 발견이 됐을 텐데.
That's not it.
오빠.
Pointer's research says it can emit an incredibly loud hiss when it feels threatened. Poppy and Fitz both said they heard a loud noise around the time of the murder. Neither of them had any idea what it was.
This seems a little far-fetched. Is it really loud enough to knock someone out?
No, I don't think so, not by itself. But don't forget, it was being amplified by the shape of the gramophone. Now, I don't think we're purely talking about volume either. It might just be a particular type of frequency.
This is getting kinda scientific. Since when do you know anything about the effects of weaponized audio frequency?
I don't, but I think someone else does. Do you remember that statue we found in the music room? The horn it's playing. It's a pretty similar shape to the one on the gramophone. That broken glass isn't there on accident. This is someone's science experiment.
Thinking about it, Pointer said he saw Flora was knocked out too. I guess they were both in range of the noise, although Pointer might have been lying.
Personally, I think he was telling the truth about that. It's pretty clear a powerful frequency did pass through Flora's tower. Caused quite a bit of damage too.
강력한 주파수에 영향받았던 거? 테이프?
Those cracks didn't appear out of nowhere. Freya's paints, the pink cassette tape, and the gramophone itself, they all sustained similar damage while they were in that room.
That's some seriously powerful vibration, enough to crack metal, enough to knock someone out all the way across a room.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't get. If the frequency was so powerful and had such a big range, how did the murderer pull it off? Wouldn't they have been in range too? Think about it. They can't have been much further away from the gramophone than Flora was.
그것은 보호를 했어.
They protected themselves.
How?
귀마개.
These are some pretty heavy-duty earmuffs. I think they'd be enough to block out the sound.
Right. Let's go over everything from the start. 1. Freya is painting Flora's portrait. They're listening to music on the gramophone.
2. The murderer is hiding in the attic, wearing earmuffs.
3. The golden beetle starts to emit its hissing noise.
Hold on. How did it know?
The beetle?
Yeah, what triggered it? At that particular moment. Pointer's research said it makes the noise when it feels threatened.
I'm not sure. Maybe something in the music?
Maybe.
4. Freya and Flora are both knocked unconscious by the vibrations. Freya lands on her back. She drops the brush and palette by her side.
5. The murderer fires the crossbow directly downwards.
6. The arrow is pulled back up on the reel.
7. The murderer leaves the attic, presumably.
8. The door is kicked down. Fitz and Poppy enter the room.
That's it. There's something bothering me.
What?
I just want to check something. Let's go back to the crime scene. I can see the stars.
The answer is in the painting. I'm sure of it.
뭘까?
The plant. It's in the book.
What?
Look.
이거 식물이라고? 탄툼 아미카.
The answer is in the painting. I'm sure of it.
I can see the stars. 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 Freya, did you leave us a clue?
So what's bothering you?
Something that's not here. The thing we didn't find. We know she was holding it during the painting.
Flora's ink dip feather?
It was here. In this room. Where did
신물이
it
하나가
go?
빠졌잖아. 식물이 하나가 빠졌었어.
We found it somewhere else.
깃털하고 깃털? 그림엔 식물이 두 개인데 근데 얼룩색 깃털은 여기서 불탔다.
We were a little too late to save it.
So it was stolen from the crime scene. And ended up in the incinerator down in the study.
Someone wanted to destroy it, I guess.
But how? How was it stolen from up here in Flora's tower?
Presumably, Flora dropped it when she fell unconscious.
Yeah, and then what? The murderer couldn't have stolen it if they were up in the attic.
So the question is, how could they steal something from a room they weren't able to access?
본인이 어떤 방에서
The final clue about the crime scene. Freya left it for us right here. It's in the unfinished painting. It's not quite a photo, but still, it's an image of the crime scene recorded just before the murder. If only she'd finished it. Then I could be totally sure.
It's true she never finished it. But she did intend to finish it.
Meaning?
We know more about the painting than what Freya actually got down on the canvas. That's not it. That's not it.
이건가?
Freya prepared all the colors she was going to need before she started painting.
그치.
Blood on the brush was going to be used to paint the ink dip feather dropped by the ink dip bird. Nope. Blood on the brush was... That's not right. Brown and gray paint. That's not right either. The black paint. That's not right either.
뭘까? 이거인 것 같긴 한데 실수인가? 실수는 아닐 것 같은데.
Blood on the brush was added. That's not right either. Blood on the brush. Almost. Maybe just change one thing. Blood on the brush. That's not right either. Almost. Maybe just change one.
이걸 거란 말이죠.
Blood on the brush. That's not right either.
이거
Blood on the
실수는
brush
아니겠지?
was. That's not right either. Blood on the brush was going to be used to paint the sketch dropped by the ink-dip bird. That's not right either.
플로라가 잃어버린 거?
Blood on the brush was going to be used to paint the sketch which Freya had lost. That's not right either.
이건
Blood on the brush was going to be used to paint the sketch of something sitting in the window. Almost. Maybe just...
스케치가 아니라
Blood
뒤틀려야
on the
되나?
brush was going to be used to paint the ink dip feather of something sitting in the window. That's not right either. Brown and gray paint was going to be used to paint the sketch of something sitting in the window. Almost. Maybe just change one thing. Brown and gray paint was going to be used to paint. That's not right either.
노란색 물감?
The yellow paint was going to be used to paint
Ah.
the sketch of something sitting in the window.
Something in the window.
벌레?
That's not it.
딱정벌레? 노란색의 무언가. 플로라의 탑 창문에 있었던 것. 설마 화분이 아니라 이 노란색 새인 건가?
There she is, our little thief.
How long has it been there? Did it hear the whole conversation?
She did, but she's a very good listener.
뭐야?
Well now, I think this has quite served its purpose, don't you?
오.
Penny, why did you...
It's Penelope, if you don't mind. But before we begin, isn't there a certain formality demanding our attention? Lovely. Now, tell me, what was it that drove you this far? I'm ever so curious.
이거 설마 결말이 바뀌나? 여러 가지로.
I
진실.
just need to know the truth.
Is that right? Interesting.
Why did you do it, Penny? What did Freya do to you?
Absolutely nothing.
So, what? You just hated her indiscriminately?
Freya Fellow was an inspiration to us all. She was possessed of a great energy, the volition to create something from nothing, the willpower to walk beyond her boundaries. She was truly free. Everything I couldn't be.
You know what? I just realized I actually have no idea who Penelope Pointer really is.
Weird, isn't it? Considering we've met her, 3 times now?
Exactly. How do we know this one isn't a disguise too?
You think you've already hollowed us out, don't you? Only a few short hours at Tangle Tower, and you feel like you've got everyone sussed. Unearthed every single one of our secrets. Nothing but bullet points for your notebook. Go on, indulge me. What does it say in your notes about Penelope Pointer? Suppose
Penny, we only know what you choose to tell us, so why not help us out?
Very well. Penelope Pointer is actually not very important at all. She pales in comparison to those who came before her and to those that came after. Living at Tangle Tower, it is very difficult to attain the levels of self-realization you probably take for granted.
You sure this is a Tangle Tower thing, and not a you thing?
Perhaps you didn't notice. Not one of them is happy, not one.
So why stay? Why not just leave?
I thought she did leave. Penny, you said you traveled, didn't you?
I did. Many times I've walked away. It did not help me. You saw the family tree hanging in the grand hall, did you not?
Yeah, it lists a bunch of people who don't live here
A
anymore.
bunch of people who don't live here anymore. I couldn't have put it better myself. My mother, for one. My father, too. The other 2 Remingtons. Poppy's mother, Primrose. And her brother, Richard.
And Fitz's father.
That's 5. 5 people that might have lived here, but don't.
And that was the first question I wanted answered.
You wanted to know where they'd all gone?
More than that, I wanted to know if I belonged with them. I have no place here. Not among the Fellows, the Remingtons, or the Pointers. But I felt there must be a reason why everyone else left. Some common purpose they all shared. Perhaps it could be my purpose, too.
So, what did you actually do about it?
Nothing I could do, at first. Nobody would tell me anything. The more questions I asked, the fewer answers I got. Then, I found it. I was 19. Same age Freya is now.
Found what?
연구실.
The study. The one hidden in the middle of the house. It's right next to a bedroom.
I'd hear voices at night. Deep ones. And the strangest thing, the wall behind my bed would get incredibly hot. For hours on end. The paint would peel. Wallpaper wouldn't stay up. I thought I was cursed. I thought it was something trying to break through. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I found my way in the same way you did. Once you know it's there, it's simple.
So, you got into the study and found the incinerator. That must have been a relief, right?
It was still warm when I found it. Then, I looked inside. Let's see how thorough you've been. Tell me, Do you know what a misted is?
Misted?
Mistids? Sure, yeah.
You're more observant than I thought.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
It's a collective term from before my time. Birds, insects, amphibians, anything living off the lake water. The mutation can take several generations, or it can happen overnight.
Wait, mistids. Like cryptids? Like Bigfoot or whatever.
A little egregious, isn't it? I suspect that was an intentional parallel. The main difference being mistids are perfectly real. They're just kept secret. Or at least, that was the original plan. As it happened, some got out. Quite a few got out.
How do you know all this?
When I entered the study at 19, I found a single object that rather changed my life. Something which answered my questions while at once creating all new ones.
That's not it.
That's not right.
어이? 이거는 거기 연구실 없었지? 이거 연구실에서 찾았던가?
That's not right.
아,
The 5 missing family members standing together as a single unit, calling themselves the ambassadors of Misted Mansion.
So, the house was renamed from Misted Mansion to Tangle Tower?
And rightly so. The age of Misted Mansion is long past. When I looked inside the incinerator on my first visit to the study, I found nothing but ash. The afterimage of a bygone era denied to me in its entirety. The study, the room at the bottom of the lake itself, all empty shells. I felt my only hope lay with the ambassadors. If I could find them, maybe they'd share the family history that Flora and the others were trying so hard to forget.
How did you track them down?
It was tough. They'd taken almost everything. Books, maps, charts, the creatures themselves, all lost, taken away or destroyed. But I got lucky. I got a lead. I found one, and he led me to the rest.
And? What happened? Why'd you paint out all their faces?
They didn't help you either, did they?
19-year-old me had imagined they'd all left with a mission, a unified purpose. But they hadn't. They were, in fact, every bit as fractured as the people that still live here. Most of them had left tracking escaped mystids. Some claimed to be researchers, others little more than hunters. All 5 completely useless to me.
Even your own parents?
Eventually, I returned to Tingle Tower. I had nowhere else to go. I considered giving up. But instead, I made a decision. There was only one person at Tangle Tower still of interest to me. My dear Uncle Pointer had suddenly made a show of taking up astronomy. A fairly superficial charade. I don't think many people were fooled by it. But I knew it wasn't just a falsehood. It was a mask. Pointer had found something from the era of Misted Mansion.
So, where did he get the beetle?
I cannot be sure, but I theorize that he received it in the post.
In the post? From who?
Who can say? Someone outside Tangle Tower. But the thought that he would be in contact with such a person, all that time, I decided to take what was owed to me.
So you stole it.
Stealing the beetle turned out to be only the first step.
졌다는
Upon
게.
realizing it was gone, Pointer made little effort to disguise his frustration. I asked what was bothering him. He foresaw no risk in sharing a little of the truth with his niece. He told me he'd lost a rare treasure, something he'd been keeping safe. I suggested, innocently, that perhaps it was not lost. Perhaps it had been stolen. He was very ready to believe he'd been the victim of theft. When I offered to call in a private detective, he jumped on the idea. She arrived the next day. Hawkshaw prides herself on her punctuality, as you know.
Why, though? Why go through all that? The name, the costume, and everything?
It's somewhat sad to admit, but I had little use left for Penny Pointer as she was. Hawkshaw afforded me new advantages, opportunities.
But didn't you have to pretend to be working for Professor Pointer?
Well, that was one of the advantages. Pointer was in such a desperate state, he was finally willing to share some of his secrets. On the second day, Hawkshaw explained she needed to be able to search the secret laboratory. Pointer gave in and gave me the code for the harp statue. Reluctantly, but still.
So, you stole Pointer's research?
I would have done, if I'd found anything worth stealing. But he had made remarkably little progress, barely scratching the surface of the beetle's true mystery.
Which is?
Ha! It carries an exoskeleton approximately 90% identical to gold. But it's not the 90% I'm
나머지 10%는
interested in.
뭐야?
Did you ever question what exactly makes the water here so unique? Before Misted Mansion was built over the lake, before the lake was even a lake, Lord Remington and his wife built a small structure here, a research station, supposedly. Fast forward 2 or 3 generations, and as you saw for yourself, it's been mostly cleared out.
The ambassadors took everything when they left.
And everything they didn't take was burned in the incinerator. However, possessing additional insight, I found something the others had missed. It's not much, but I have what I need.
So, why isn't this the end of the story? Why did you stay? Why did you kill Freya?
Simply put, Freya was too good for me. It's my fault. I pushed her over the edge, unknowingly, but still, I take the blame.
What are you talking about?
Did you know I based the design for Hawkshaw on something Freya painted?
요거?
That almost makes sense. But it's not right.
프레야가 그린 것이죠.
That's right. I had assumed it was purely abstract. I just thought it had a good energy. I later discovered it was a figure of some kind, something from Freya's recurring nightmare. For all her vitality, I think Freya was probably the most troubled of all of us. She was desperate to leave Tangle Tower, but she couldn't just walk away. For quite some time, she'd been trying to break into Pointer's laboratory. Freya and her friends were halfway through deciphering those symbols on the harp statue, I believe.
Why did she care about getting into Pointer's lab?
That's exactly what I wondered. At first, I thought perhaps she just wanted to free the beetles. She has a fondness for them. What Pointer was doing upset her significantly. But in fact, I think it was something else. I think she wanted to free Fiona. The real reason Freya was unable to leave Tangle Tower is that she could not get Fiona to agree to come with her. We're now firmly in the realm of speculation, but I think Freya felt that exposing the darker secrets of Tangle Tower, not just to the rest of the family, but to the world, would compromise all three families, and perhaps, somehow, free Fiona from the shackles of her inheritance. That was her plan anyway, but something happened before Freya could find her way into Pointer's laboratory.
She found her way into your study, found your notes, found that photograph. I'm willing to bet she put it all together quicker than we did.
So she worked out what had happened to the 5 ambassadors. Specifically, what you'd done to them when they refused to help you.
Freya had made a promise to paint Flora as a birthday gift, a parting gift no less. She'd be in a locked room, several hours away from her friends. It was my best chance.
But why hide in the attic? And why bother with the beetle at all?
The beetle in the gramophone wasn't for Freya. It was for Flora. She didn't deserve to be involved. She suffered enough. I couldn't get Flora out of the room, but if she could be unconscious, then she wouldn't have to witness anything.
Why the knife? The illusion of the painted knife with the blood.
That was for Fiona. And Poppy too, I suppose. Gave them something to focus on.
You mean it distracted them while you made your escape?
It helped them cope. The very idea of something abstract, something supernatural. I believe it made things marginally less painful for them, initially. Worked on you, too.
So why are you still here? Why not take your first chance and leave?
Well, I've been waiting for an opportunity to get my beetle back. I'd really rather not leave without it.
Wait, it's still here?
It's still inside the gramophone.
기절했구만. 배는 갔어.
What's going on?
Poppy, they are both awake.
I can see.
You two, all right?
My head hurts.
You were both unconscious. 14 minutes by my count.
Really?
You're both fine. No injuries.
Was it the beetle? In the gramophone? I heard it through the ceiling in my room.
The exact same sound we heard before the murder.
I guess it must have been.
So how did we get down here? What happened to Penny?
Fitz saved both of you, obviously.
When I reached Flora's tower, you were both unconscious, and Penny was crouched down beside you. She had her crossbow on her, but who knows? She may have just been checking you were both asleep.
Did you know that she was the murderer?
Poppy and Fifi suspected her. Apparently, they were pretty close to solving it themselves.
Fitz did not want to believe us, because he liked Penny. A lot.
But what happened? Fitz, what did she do when she saw you?
She jumped out the window.
What? Did she survive?
She did.
I heard something land in the garden outside my room, but by the time I got out there to check, she was already gone.
Hang on. Poppy, why do you have Penny's hat bird?
She left him behind. I found him sitting on the floor in the aviary, all by himself. Poor little thing. The mean lady didn't care about you at all, did she? No, she didn't.
I apologize, Poppy seems to be under the illusion that the bird can understand human language.
So, Penny got away.
I'm afraid she did.
We had suspected she might try to escape. I was stationed here by the lake's edge. I proved to be an ineffective guard. She took the boat.
Did she take the beetle with her?
Nope,
How do you know?
because it's right here.
엥?
It was still in the gramophone. I guess I scared her off before she had a chance to take it.
Poppy, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to give it back to your father?
No, I'm not. It doesn't belong to anyone. So, I'm going to put it on the ground and never bother it again. I think that's what she would have wanted.
범인은 찾았는데 범인은 그럼 못 잡은겨? 엔딩이 여러 개로 날리나? 언탱글 타워. 아무튼 끝났다.
Well, I think
여기서 여러
it's
개
been
지나는
out.
건가?
Before we begin, Lovely. What was it that drove you this far? I'm ever so curious.
I just...
Why did you...
So,
Freya,
the volition,
the will of
everything.
You know what?
Weird, isn't it?
Exactly.
You think unearth. Go on, indulge me.
Penny,
She paid living
is
is very.
found.
Perhaps you did.
So...
I thought she...
Many times. You saw the
Yeah,
fate of
my
my
mother
mother.
And-
That's fine.
And
You
that
wanted to-
more. But I felt there
So...
nothing more.
Found what?
The study. It's right
In
here.
the street. Eventually, I found my
So, must have been
way. Let's see how. Tell me.
misted.
Mestids?
Sorry.
It's a collective mutation.
Wait.
The main
How do you know?
something which. The 5 missing families.
So,
And
When I
right as
looked,
I found
the
nothing.
study
Felt
maybe
my own. It was tough.
Yeah. Why do you...
they didn't help.
19
Most of them
some
all
quite.
even your...
Eventually, there was only
My
my
dear,
fairly
but I
pointer.
So where did he get
In the
Who can say?
So you still...
Upon
asked
he foretold
I
it
suggested
was me
it.
after you arrived.
Why?
It's
But-
hawk shot. Pointer was
Pointer gave
So-
What did he admit?
Which is...
Carrie, did you
before
Lord
Bass-
the
and
ambassador.
it's not.
So why...
Simply put, it's my fault. Did you know I baked? That's right.
Had a suit for quite Freya.
Why
That's
did-
exactly.
She has a fact.
I think the real reason.
For now,
but I
for
not
now,
just
just
perhaps
that was her before
She
Freya.
found
So
one.
specific.
Freya had
But
been
why?
the beetle.
She
Couldn't she wouldn't have.
By the night.
That.
You mean-
How
Believe
done
it. So why?
Wait.
It's still in.
What's
Papa,
going?
You two.
My head hurts.
you were both on.
Really?
Was I heard
Exactly.
So how did
Fitz saved.
When I
She
read
did.
Poppy and
Fitz a lot.
But
she jumped up.
She
I
did.
heard, but by the
Hang
time
on,
she left
I
him,
found it.
I apologize.
so
I'm afraid she.
I have to be.
did she take?
How do you know?
It was still in the grammar.
Pop, are you going
No,
to...
it doesn't. I think that's what she would have wanted.
뭔가 숨겨진 길이 더 있나? 궁금하시네. 끝났다. 뭔가 느낌 완전 다르네. 아무튼 재미가 있었다. 그러면은 다들 빠이입니다. 빠이용. 엔딩이 더 있나? 나중에 혼자 해볼까?